Technology has been advancing since the beginning of time. From the creation of the first wheel to the world's first supercomputer, technology has always been with us. Fast forwarding to the 20th century, technology had started to reach a pivotal point in its progression, making productivity at a much faster rate. Good morning, I am Sydney Frankel. Today I will be answering, to what extent has computer and mechanical technological advancements from the 20th century on influenced American work ethic and employment rates? Since the 20th century, technology has been advancing at a rapid rate, causing people to question whether or not they will be replaced in the workforce. NPR reported at a Jobs and Technology conference that David Otter, an MIT economist, made the comment, "Machines used to take over work that was physically hard or dangerous or just monotonous. We're losing higher skilled, better paying jobs to machines." Be that as it may, occupations such as mechanics and repairers, which are classified as high-skilled labor, have significantly grown from 1910 to 2000. The chart shown above depicts the American employment rate for mechanics and repairers has increased throughout the 20th century. It shows a steady increase from 1910 to 1940, hits a tangent at 1950, and then shows an overall progression from 1960 to 2000. According to Ian D. Wyatt and Daniel E. Hecker, economists in the Office of Occupational Statistics and Employment, this is due to a vast increases in the amount of machinery, all requiring maintenance and repair. As shown at the table at the bottom, the Bureau of Labor Statistics predicts that the employment for mechanics and repair industry will increase by 16% from 2014 to 2024. Technologies such as computers and machines do not have a permanent warranty. They will require maintenance in order to function and need to be improved upon when better methods for increased productivity of machines have occurred, thus creating more job opportunities. High-skilled occupations are not the only ones that have had people questioning whether they're going to lose their job or not. One would assume that computers and machines are practically conquering the lower-skilled jobs because there are certain machines that can practically do the job just as well as a person. This is not true. Technological advancement, however, does not mean it will replace a person for that career or make humans obsolete in that work field. Rather, it changes a human's purpose in that field of work. A bank teller, for example, could be considered a declining career since the invention of the ATM can do just about the same task as them. James Benson, researcher at Boston University School of Law, states that although ATM technology did not eliminate bank tellers, it did change the way tellers work and the skills they require. They now perform relatively fewer transactions in favor of complex ones, and they provide the personal service that is an important part of relationship banking, which in turn causes adaptation for that job. He later goes on to state, because ATMs perform many teller transactions, fewer tellers are needed to operate a bank branch, but because it costs less to operate a branch office, banks dramatically increase the number of branches in order to reach a bigger market. More bank branches means more tellers, despite fewer tellers per branch. Technological advancements has made tasks and skills in a job much easier to do, not necessarily requiring the same amount of work and effort put into it, which creates a concern for work ethic. Work ethic is defined by Merriam-Webster as a belief in work as a moral good, a set of values centered on the importance of doing work and reflected especially in a desire or determination to work hard, which Richard Nixon addresses in his address to the nation on Labor Day when he states, "A man or woman at work not only makes a contribution to his fellow man, but becomes a better person by virtue of the act of work." Technology may have made menial tasks in the work field easier, but this could have generated the consequence of lacking motivation for that work. Without a sense of purpose or meaning to do one thing, a person will not put in the hard work in order to do it. Derek Thompson, in A World Without Work, states that a 2014 Gallup report of worker satisfaction found that as many as 70% of Americans don't feel engaged by their current job. Purpose, meaning, identity, fulfillment, creativity, autonomy, all these things that positive psychology has shown us to be necessary for well-being are absent in the average job. This could be due to the changing skills necessary to try and give the people that job still without having to have them fear that technology is going to replace them. The chart to the right shows in different working fields how engaged the employees are. One can draw a conclusion that the more technology implemented into the work environment, the less engaged the workers become. Benson has stated that technology can place a burden on displaced workers, which create negative repercussions such as a decline in health. Thompson stated that the very things that help many people recover from other emotional traumas, a routine, and absorbing distraction, a daily purpose, are not readily available to the unemployed. One possible solution for this lacking motivation is to implement work ethic training programs for employees to better understand their full potential within their career. Not only to better motivate them for the work, but to also show what skills they have that machines cannot do. It would train the employees to better understand that the machines are not there to do the job for them, but rather help the work environment become more productive. It would also show how employees can still be productive and work with the computers and machines to make the tasks much more efficient. There are limitations to this, however. It would require the employers to implement new policies at job orientations and would require the need to train employees. It may also create the ideology that this technology cannot be implemented since it would harm the workers' self-morale. This would then create a conflict of interest for increased productivity for reduced costs. Another solution could be controlling what kind of technologies is implemented under certain work environments. Machines and computers involved in coding are necessary for the work fields, such for computer specialists and engineers, but automated answer machines for occupations such as customer service should not be necessary when a physical person can directly answer the questions. They would also be able to have a better grasp for certain human problems and communicate much more effectively than a machine could ever. This solution also has limitations since it cannot be entirely regulated. Also, one cannot deny a business from purchasing a type of machinery simply because it can displace a worker or limit the potential said worker has. This alternate solution is possible, but not entirely plausible, thus leaving the best fitted solution to be implementing a work ethics program. It may take more time when first hiring employees or reinforming current ones, but it would give workers a sense of purpose again, giving them more motivation to work hard at the job. Technological advancements are constantly changing the future for the better. It is not replacing any one individual. Rather, it is simply changing the attitudes people should have towards them. Any questions?
Yeah, hold on a second. And I have two questions for you. First up, tell me about your sources. How valid were they, and how do you know that they were valid and reliable?
I used two articles that College Board had posted, A World Without Work and Richard Nixon, and then I used a lot of the data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and it would have a date that said 2014, and there was a report that they did in 2006, but it was for the 20th century, so I deemed it as reliable. Also, as I have stated with one source, he was MIT economist from NPR.
If you would have had more time, what more would you have done?
I probably would have gone into depth into other different job fields because I went into a lot about the mechanics and repairs because that is what typically people would deem as like the job losing employees because of how reliable machines are starting to become. So it makes them think that mechanics are not needed as much. So I would like to have gone more into depth into other careers such as doctors, sales workers.
You're good.